Tuesday. So my name is Hope McCutcheon. I am one of your hosts today and wanted to welcome you all to CE2 Charlottesville Entrepreneurs on Espresso. You guys did a great job coming to your seats. I bought a cowbell for this and I used it one time, hid it for my 4-year-old, and now I can't find it. So we're back to using my voice. So I appreciate you guys cooperating, sitting down, populating the front. Awesome. Charlottesville Entrepreneurs Espresso, this event has been happening for 10 years. Since last August was our 10-year anniversary, so very excited about that. Started in the iLab, then was virtual during COVID, and then we're grateful for code-based co-working and the code building for allowing us to use this space. And so raise your hand if this is your first time attending this event. Awesome, great, well, welcome, glad to have you. If you see me or one of the ladies in the back, let us know how you heard about the event so we can do more of that. But how this event is run is we have 2 speakers every month. We have an early stage entrepreneur that shares about their business, and they actually have an ask for the audience. So they'll have an ask for you to help them solve a barrier to growth. So there's participation there. And then we have a seasoned entrepreneur that shares about their journey and really lessons learned the hard way. So it's things you might not otherwise hear. So that's a really fun segment as well. And then we do some announcements and then open it up after that for more networking. So as we get started, I wanted to, first of all, thank our organizations that put this together. So on one of these slides, it has them too, but CBIC, Charlottesville Business Innovation Council, CIC Community Investment Collaborative, the SBDC Small Business Development Center, all the acronyms, and then a couple of other organizations. Also, the Batten Institute at UVA helps us out, as well as code-based co-working, Darcy Gentleman as a coach, and then other volunteers. So we're very grateful. Wanted to start with our early stage speaker. Wanted to introduce Andrew Kwasny. And his background is he grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Did I say your last name right? I forgot to confirm that. Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. He grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and graduated from Clemson with a degree in industrial engineering and a minor in business administration. He moved to Charlotte after he graduated and spent 3 years at Ernst & Young as a technology consultant within the data and analytics practice, and then came to Charlottesville to join Glyphic Software, which is a company founded by a seasoned local entrepreneur, Zach Buckner. And for the last 2 years, Andrew is a leader in their sales efforts. So very excited to hear about this growing company. We welcome Andrew.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to give this 1 second to pull up. And this on. We should be good to go. Okay. All good. Sweet. Hello, everyone. Oh, thank you for that introduction. My name is Andrew, and like Hope said, I'm here with Focus Software, which is a local software company here in town, and I'm here with a little spiel about what we do, and a little ask for you guys as well. So getting started, I will go ahead and just jump right into it, which is our ask, which is to use finite business resources to position ourselves to win more business. So we want to do this a little bit differently for those of you that have been here, rather than giving you kind of our whole spiel, and then towards the end, hit you with some broad ask. We are hoping to tell you guys first what we're looking to know, talk a little bit about our story, where we come from, what we do, and then finally, give you guys a little bit of our plan as to how we want to do that. And the goal in doing that is that while we tell you guys how we're thinking about this and what some of our assumptions are and what we've been thinking about this, that'll kind of give you guys something to react to. And the reason why we want to do it that way is because of something called Cunningham's Law. Is anyone here familiar with Cunningham's Law? Raise the hands. Anyone heard of it? So this is an idea that the fastest way to the right answer is not to ask for it, but is actually to state the wrong answer. So what better place to find this than on the internet, and more specifically Reddit. So I went ahead and dug something up that hopefully we can all be a little bit familiar with. What's the best place to eat in Charlottesville? And one of the first things that came up was just a typical Reddit post, what are the best restaurants in Charlottesville? We'll call this user number 1. User number 2 takes a slightly different approach to get at the same idea. An exhaustive tier list of Charlottesville restaurants made after a long car ride home. You can see kind of similar idea here, slightly different execution. And I spared sharing with you guys the exhaustive tier list of Charlottesville restaurants. They're color coded. There's 50 to 60 of them. Tons of hot takes in there. But what I want to show you that I thought was pretty funny is some of the reactions that I got. Calling this person deranged, telling them that they need to check into a hospital, all this stuff. And clearly we can tell by the difference in the engagement with the likes and the comments and the choice words that user number 2 gets, that he pushed some sort of buttons. This person invoked some sort of reaction. And this is just kind of a silly and dramatic way of getting at our point that we've had a lot of these conversations about what the best way to grow this business is. And it's not that we think that our answer is wrong or stupid or is going to cause some sort of outlash, but when we give people something to react to, these conversations tend to go a lot better. So that's our hope at the end, and kind of giving you guys a little bit of how we thought about this. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are as starters. So Glyphic software started at a company called Elva Research, which was founded here back in the 1990s, here in Charlottesville, as a data science and machine learning consultancy, working with a bunch of Fortune 500 and government agencies. So way back when Elva Research started, a couple years in, they had a client. It was a large financial services institution that had this huge problem of having to process over 10,000 financial statements every single month. And the way they were processing these was pulling people out of their day jobs and making them do this stressful, tiring, manual, heavy process of keying in data off these reports and then into some sort of internal system. So that's when they brought in Elva Research. Elva Research was able to build a tool for them to do this automatically. It not only brought the error rate down from 15% to 1%, it also gave people all that time back, all that sanity back, and just made everyone's lives so much easier. With that, Glyphic was born. Elva Research decided to spin Glyphic out into its own private software as a service company, which is what we have now today. That was all done under the idea that this is an idea and a solution that would be valuable to people outside of this unique company. And since that has happened, we've seen that that's been the case. That thesis has largely proven to be true, that this process of manually keying in data from documents is not unique to this one specific process with this one specific customer in this one very specific industry. But this is a pretty widespread thing that tons of people are struggling with. And just want to call out the fact that this is all sorts of different customers across different industries and also all sorts of documents too. We don't need to go into all the detail on all the sorts of documents we're working with. But one that I do want to point out is so with that last kind of like story content slide, what do? If you were focusing on the first slide that we showed, or if you were to go to our website, you would see 3 words: intelligent document automation. And like most corporate slogans, that's both exactly what we do, but also tells you very little about what we do without proper context. So I want to dive in a little bit more and talk about what we're specifically doing to serve our customers. It starts with documents. What we're showing here is a bunch of digital documents. So we have an invoice, a purchase order, and a bill of lading. We take all sorts of files of digital documents. That's mainly PDFs, but also happens to be things like Excel sheets, Word documents, JPEGs, pretty much anything we've probably done it and probably do it for our customers. What we're showing here, like I said, invoice, purchase order, bill of lading. This is a common workflow that we do for a lot of our customers, where we're running a 3-way match to basically check is what was ordered the same as what was paid for, the same as what was received. That brings us to the next point, which is intelligent. So you'll see I highlighted some values on these documents here. We're actually extracting this information out of the documents. So whatever the customer wants to get out of the documents, we're going to pull that out in a way that's intelligent. What makes that intelligent is that a lot of the other solutions here on the market are something called RPA, which is robotic process automation, basically a rules-based process. This is an AI-native solution that uses LLMs, so it's flexible. It's basically what we should get at that. If they move the purchase order number to the bottom left, if it sees a document it's never seen before, it's going to handle the situation.
What is an LLM?
LLM is a large language model.
Okay, thank you.
For asking. Last thing is going to be automation. So automation is the process of taking those extracted values and then automatically pushing that to whatever the internal data source that is. So A lot of our customers, that's going to be a large ERP like SAP or Oracle, that might be an accounting system. We're able to integrate pretty easily with a lot of those via the REST API. Big picture thing here, rather than walking away with what specifically we do, the value we're bringing our customers is taking disparate, unstructured, wild, wild west data in the form of these documents and then turning it into structured and consumable data for our customers. So that's like the bottom line of this slide. Last thing that we want to talk about, which kind of brings us to our current state now. So talk a little bit about who we are, who we serve. Now thinking more about what we're at right now and what our ask for you guys really is. So when we think about where Glyphic is today, I think three main words come to mind. And that's proven, prepared, and positioned. So proven just in the sense that we have really great customers and our customers are really happy with the work that we've done. We've proven not only to them, but also to ourselves that we can deliver successfully on the enterprise level. So that's been really great. That brings us to the next thing, which is prepared. And we feel ready to grow. One important thing for the context of this conversation is that we've made the intentional business decisions to not take any sort of venture capital in our growth over the 8 years we've been around. So with that being said, it's been a steady and organic process of growth, kind of like eat what you kill sort of thing. Some of you can probably relate to that. And because of that, we feel like we're in a spot for, again, a variety of business reasons where we're ready to start intentionally focusing on sales. We haven't ever had any sort of formal sales initiative. It's all been customer referrals, word of mouth, stuff like that. So for the first time, like 6 months ago, we started thinking about how do we want to bring this to market in a more traditional way. As we thought about that, the first question that comes with that is, who do we want our customer to be? We have broadly thought about that as kind of taking a step back. So within software, you have this spectrum of like packaging something as a product or packaging something as a service. And our whole goal with this is to take what we're doing really well with a lot of our customers and repeat that as much as possible with as little variability as possible. That's kind of what we're going for. So we really want to play on that product side of like the plug and play more turnkey solution. Obviously, there's going to be certain variability between different clients, but that tends to lead us towards larger enterprise clients, like the ones you saw on that screen, that have the volume of documents to justify and validate a purchase in a solution like this. So that's kind of our growth plan. That's kind of what we're looking at. How we've thought about doing that thus far has been most of the classic means of going at sales from what we can tell. We've really tried to focus on in-person stuff. So being at conferences, meeting people, even local stuff like this, networking events, DC, Richmond, all that kind of stuff, just trying to get our face and name out there as much as possible. We've done a little bit of spear fishing, as we like to call it, where we find customers that we feel like would be really good fit, and we kind of hone in on a couple different buyers. So maybe that's sending gift baskets, maybe that's reaching out to them via LinkedIn, things like that. And then also a little bit of net fishing in terms of like the cold email stuff, and then beefing up the LinkedIn presence as well. So those are the main things there that we really focused on thus far. And that brings me to kind of the last thing here, which is position. We feel really ready to compete in this sense. The way that most business is won in our space is by getting your foot in the door somewhere, and then the company will ask for a proof of concept from a couple of different vendors. They'll provide a proof of concept, and they'll pick the one they like best. And we, every time that we've been asked to provide a proof of concept, have won that business. Which I don't say to boast, but I say because it's a unique situation that we're not. Our ask is not about winning more fights. It's about asking how we can get in the ring more often. And given that we're trying to play on these larger enterprise spaces and we're a smaller fish in a lot of those ponds, it's about how we use, going back to the ask, really finite resources compared to a lot of our competitors to be able to just position ourselves to be in consideration for a lot of that business. And then let our software hopefully do a lot of the winning of it for us. So kind of wrapping things up, not an ask about how do we throw more money at this or how do we go at it this way, but how do we be really strategic and really targeted with the finite resources that we have to be able to win this business. That's my ask for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thanks for sharing about Glyphic. Give me a hand. All right, so who has some insight here in the back of me? Oh, never mind, I'm closer. All right, hold on one second. We're recording this, so that's why we're using the mic, by the way.
If I'm, excuse me, if I'm in your situation, the first thing I'm gonna do is find my best client and see if I can use them to help me grow, maybe tie into their business somehow, some sort of partnership.
Thank you for that.
What have you done with respect to product-led growth? Have you explored that kind of approach?
To elaborate a little more, what you mean by products like that?
So having the product sell itself, so getting users on board from a freemium model, so they can discover value for free, and then be enticed to pay more.
It's a good question. So we have thought the way that most of our engagements work is almost not dissimilar to that, in that we are often brought on with one particular customer to do something that might not be like the crown jewel of what we want to do with that customer, but we'll kind of do it for a little bit, as whether it's a POC or whether it's just a way to kind of earn trust within the organization to kind of continue to work our way towards that. So we are able to do that in situations where there's a reasonable degree of confidence that we're going to get to where we really want to go. But in terms of just offering like the whatever you're kind of talking about, the free version, light version, it's just difficult because with the software as a service model, like the operating costs and setting things up and being able to configure custom environments for customers, it's difficult to do that to the fullest extent, which I'm guessing is maybe what you're referring to. But I'd love to talk about that more if you have specific ideas on that. Yeah.
Two questions. One, so I was doing RPAs 10 years ago. So do you just set these up and create data lakes and get everything running and efficient for them and go away? Or do you then monthly run all this stuff continually for a lower subscription fee? And the second question is, you said you compete. So what's your SWOT analysis versus an Accenture or people like that with some big companies like that?
Yeah. So the first question on the RPA component, what we're doing is the idea for our customers is that we're making their lives easier. So this is a service where ideally, if you were to like see a demo of it, for example, they're not in there touching it a ton. The documents come in automatically, they're extracted automatically, and the data is brought out automatically. So the whole idea is that customers aren't actually engaging with it all that much, except for edge cases and use cases. And our involvement with them usually looks like regular conversations of like, okay, hey, we see that you have these documents that are running fully automatically and they're going really well, and you're still having people spend time on these sorts of documents, but these could probably be fully automatic. You should maybe do that and spend less time on this. Would be the first question in terms of like what our involvement looks like with our customers. Second sense, from our kind of general SWOT analysis, within the space that we're really trying to play in, which I would say is like the accounts payable automation space with this invoice use case. For a lot of these big customers, most of our competitors, rather than like the Accentures and like big players in the world, are like specific AP automation companies. Places like Bill, Esker, Stamply, Tipalti, if you've ever heard of those companies. They are specifically playing in that AP automation space. And what they're really trying to do is more than just automate accounts payable, but automate the entire procure-to-pay process of procurement, ordering to eventual fulfillment, making all that automated. And what we've encountered with a lot of our customers, the logos we showed up there, is that they've all kind of tried those solutions and they're really good at going a mile wide and an inch deep. But what we're trying to do is provide what we see as a boutique solution for specifically the invoice capture process of having a really quality extraction tool that's able to get the right information out for those customers and then kind of let everything flow downstream from there. So that's what we've seen be valuable to our customers and kind of our value prop to like what we talk to. Thanks for that question.
That explanation was great. And I am curious if you are able to ever really go in and see that aha moment for the customers. When do they go, oh God, I've been doing it wrong, now I'm doing it right? Or is that just information that you are not seeing? I think if you do see that, you will have more ins with new customers if you really understand that at a granular level.
It's a super great point. Thanks, big thing. We've had a couple little ones throughout the years. this past fall, I was at a accounts payable automation conference, and I about the way that sitting through these sessions and stuff, they're like, man, a lot of these people are struggling with stuff that we feel like we're okay on. And like, granted, well, like no solution is perfect, and like accounts payable is always going to be headache inducing in one way or another. Like, we're really fortunate that like you guys offer this, like X, Y, and Z. And that was one example of a cool conversation and cool moment we had with the customer. But I think the root of your question is important, that being more connected with what is actually resonating with our customers and what is really liking about this is huge as we think about how we want to grow this and how we want to package it going forward. So I appreciate that.
So you mentioned that you have limited resources financially. What about people-wise? What does the team look like that's going to be dedicated to the sales and growth strategy?
It's a great question. We're kind of, like I said, it's like a 6-month-old infant right now, the sales department. So currently we have like 2 or 3 people that are working on it, kind of spreading that work across them. The goal would be hopefully as time goes on to continue to grow that. But right now it's also kind of limited manpower. That it's, yeah, like 3 people realistically.
Yeah, so taking all of that together, I think the book that really most influenced me is called Challenger Sale. And it's basically, right, it's engaging with the client to help them rethink and saying, look, you're worrying about this in your payment process or procurement pay process. What you actually should be worrying about is X. And I'm not sure that this 2-3 person sales team can be delegated that effectively. I think in an organization such as yours, it seems to me that anyone who is longer there, who understands the process deeply, needs to be part of that conversation, needs to be engaging relatively early as soon as there's an opening, and go to these conferences that are very specific and unique, where you're not one of 1,000 vendors, and really engage on the subject matter, and through that subject matter engagement, open doors and lead to that organic growth. Because even if you had 10, 15 new clients all of a sudden, that probably wouldn't be a good thing, because you couldn't execute against that. Right?
It's good for that.
Just tying that all together, your customer can tell you what you did for them that no one else did. And they can tell people who are like them what you do for them better than you can. Use them and use their voice, bring something together, give them something special to do, and get that information from them, right? Talk to them, record that conversation, use it like a focus group, use their voices, ask people whose jobs you've made easier to talk about the ways that you made their job easier. You don't have to sell it, they'll sell it. They know the value better than you do, right? They know there's aha moments. They know the thing that they tell everyone, like, oh my God, this is the best, and you should use these people. So just use them. Like, you got a small team, record a couple of videos and put them out there. It's more about getting the right story and having the right, the authentic voice that can actually convince people that are like them, right? The thing about sales right now is they will trust somebody who is like them, who is in their role. They're not going to trust you, right? Because everybody's trying to tell them that they're got it, right?
All right, last one or two. Let's see here.
You said you had limited sales force and those kind of things. Have you thought about your centers of influence? Who else is going after the same clients, challenging with what they're doing? You mentioned ERP companies, you talked about the books, that would be CPAs, bookkeepers. You might want to consider working with them a little more, educating them on what your product can do, because it then enhances what they're bringing to the customer set.
It's a great point. We have some experience working with an SAP implementer, exactly what we're talking about, that does SAP integrations. And that's something that we're kind of trying to push the ball forward on a little bit. And I think that's realistically, probably one of the best ways to do it is to go through someone who has a similar goal of going with these companies and almost like a package. Yeah, sort of going to market together with someone else.
We were talking about finding the SAP to work with their future events.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's a good thought.
Awesome. One more? All right, last one.
I want to affirm what this gentleman said about getting your customer, a successful customer together with a potential customer. I've done this, I was that customer and I literally hosted a potential customer on behalf of the vendor because I really liked the product. It was a software product. And, how many times does accounts payable get to be like the superheroes of their own story? Honestly. I was in a back office function and it was like, we'd love to show you what we did and how we saved time. And then the pieces, and then we get to do other things because now it's automated. So I want to double, underscore that. It's kind of funny, but it works.
Great. Thank you guys so much for your feedback for Andrew and the team.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Great. All right. Well, that transitions us. Hold on one second. But as we wrap up, we, first of all, again, thank both of you for coming in and sharing today. And also all of you for attending. This was a great audience today, but, and always is, it's always a great audience, but we're going to end with announcements. So if your company is hiring or you have an event that you'd like people to know about, you'll have the opportunity to share. We're going to start with our partner organizations to share first. So we will have Maeve. You can share first.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Maeve. I'm the Communications and Events Coordinator for the Central Virginia Small Business Development Center. Our office is right across the street in the Carter Bank Building, and we provide one-on-one business advising and webinars and workshops and trainings for small business owners in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and the 9 surrounding rural counties. And all of our trainings and advising and resources are completely free of charge. We work with entrepreneurs in any stage of business ownership and in any industry as well. So we have several really, really capable and very knowledgeable advisors who are willing and eager to help you with whatever issues you're having or any questions you have. We got a couple things coming up. Next Monday, the 26th, from 12 to 1, we're doing a webinar about selling your business, and it's going to be how to assess whether your business is valuable, understand how to value it realistically, and identifying the steps needed to maximize your value before you sell. This is a workshop that is intended for businesses that are making $1 million or less in annual revenue. So if you or someone you know is thinking about selling your business, or maybe that's information you want to have for when the time comes, that's going to be fully virtual, and again, it's going to be free to attend. And I have a sheet right here that's going to be up on the front check-in table that's going to have a QR code for you to register. And then we also do pitch preview every quarter, and that's a collaboration with Charlottesville Angel Network, where some of their angel investors listen to small business owners pitch and then give them feedback as a way for them to kind of get feedback on their pitch before they seek funding from investors. So it's not a formal funding opportunity, is just to prepare you better for when the time comes to seek funding. That is also virtual. That's going to be February 5th. That's a Thursday from 12 to 2. And there is an application for that. Again, have a QR code for that. And then applications are going to be due next Friday, January 30th. And then our host organization is CIC, the Community Investment Collaborative, and they are hiring a director of development. So this is for the main focus is going to be securing donor relationships and managing donor relationships. So they are ideally looking for someone with 4 years of nonprofit fundraising experience. And once again, we have a QR code up there for you to apply on their website or send that link to anyone who may be interested. So me and these QR codes and more information about all these are gonna be on the front check-in table until 11. If you have any questions or want more information, and you can also send me an email, and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. And I will share on behalf of CVIC, Charlottesville Business Innovation Council. We are the local tech and innovation council supporting entrepreneurs in the community. And we have 2 recurring events. This is one of them. And the other is the Innovation Mixer, which takes place at the Omni the second Tuesday of every month from 5 to 7. And so the next one is February 10th from 5 to 7. And then there's 2 partner events coming up. One is the Tech Talk at the Creator Hub, AI for Creators, Not Coders. That is Friday, February 20th from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. And that is at the Creator Hub, which is Charlottesville's newest co-working space. And you can register for that on CVIC's website. And the other event is a partnership with Elder Research, actually, Unleashing the Power of Predictive Analytics. That is Wednesday, February 11th from 8:30 to 2:30. It says 14:30, so I'm gonna convert that. It's the Town Center 4 at North Fork. So that's an all-day event essentially, and there's a CVIC member exclusive rate for that for $325. So it's definitely an investment of your day with the opportunity to really get some phenomenal learning and predictive analytics. You can also register for that on CVIC's website. So let's see, at the end of Tracy's email, cvilleinnovation.org, that's CVIC's website. So you can register for any of those events there. And so now I'll open up the floor for you to share if you are hiring or if you have any events that you'd like the room to know about, similar to what you heard announced from these other organizations. All right, if you want to just project, maybe stand up and project. Actually, I'll give you a mic. Yeah.
My name's Nicole Lightenford. I'm the Business Development Director for Braden Property Management. And we are growing rapidly. We're adding a new property manager to our team. I'm promoting a member of my staff, and so need to replace him with someone who is a leasing specialist. We're adding a maintenance admin, and I need some part-time bookkeeping help. So if you know anyone that would like a job and is interested in real estate or property management, we are heavily reinvesting in developing our people in technology. It's a fast-growing, great place to work. So I've got plenty of cards. If I can be helpful, find me after.
Nikki? All right, who else? Okay. Oh, right here.
Hi, everyone. I think I saw a few people last week at the networking event. My name is Bethlehem. I'm new to the Charlottesville area. It's only been a year since I've been here, but I'm super, super excited to be here. I'm actually hiring interns. I have a company, Agoras Health. We are focused on Gen Z recruiting, especially early career nurses. And so we're building a technology platform. So if you know anyone who is an aspiring software engineer or a recruiter or a recruiter specialist, let me know. I am specifically interested in juniors or even honestly high school graduates. You don't need a college degree. We can train you on everything. Let me know. I have business cards on my phone. I didn't bring physical business cards, so we can exchange QR codes. And if you don't like QR codes, I can just get your email and add you to my newsletters. Thank you so much. And say hi. I'm trying to make friends. Actually, I'm so happy to find this community. It took me a year to discover this community because I live up in Madison. Completely different from Charlottesville in terms of environment. So I'm super happy. I take a lot of selfies. You might see me taking videos and selfies because Gen Z is really into content and I am putting myself out there as a content creator. So yeah. Anyway.
Well, thanks for coming, Bethlehem. I emailed you. You're welcome to volunteer for media here at this event as well. And so we'll talk. But anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, we will be back here the 3rd Tuesday of February, same time, 9 a.m. And we are here till about 10. So there's still going to be 11, sorry. You guys caught me because all we church was. We'll be here till about 11, so feel free to grab more coffee on your way out and have a wonderful rest of January.